All right, what's up, guys? Just gonna do a quick little video here on Learning Target 3. It is identify chemical reactions, and we are going to just look at a bunch of different patterns and go from there. It should be pretty short. So, first reaction that we're gonna look at is called a combustion reaction, okay? And the big deal with that is that a combustion reaction has any hydrocarbon, which just means that it's got carbon, hydrogen, or oxygen in it, okay? That's kind of the first ingredient. It could be, uh, octane, which is C8H16. It could be ethanol, which is C2H5 and then OH. So those are two common things that we see in cars is ethanol, which is that, and then octane gas. And then you always need oxygen. And every time you have a combustion reaction, your products will be CO2 plus H2O. Okay. So that's a they're always the same. So these will always be present no matter what. Okay. And that it has to fit that mold to be a combustion reaction. So in this ethanol reaction here, you can predict the product should be CO2 plus H2O. And generally speaking, combustion reactions are hot. So that comes out as gases. Okay. Next one is a synthesis, which means make. You take multiples and you make one. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. All right, so something would be magnesium and oxygen combined to make magnesium oxide. That is synthesis. Decomp is the other side of the coin, which means that you have one and you break down into multiples. All right, so things that generally are decaying or baking have a decomposition type reaction. Okay, so they break down. They usually need heat to break it down. Okay, single replacement. And if you remember from honors chem, single replacement just means that the metal is going to replace the metal that's in solution. So aqueous means solution here, all right? And we'll get to into tomorrow how to actually predict these, but the general pattern just would be that the metal switches, as you can see, okay? So sodium replaces silver. Silver comes out as a solid. It was a solution. Okay, magnesium replaces copper. It switches. And then where can I find these? This list of metals, we kind of talk about uh, for a solid metal, the green ones, they have to be higher on this chart. Okay, so the green ones have to be higher than the blue ones in this chart. And like I said, we'll get into it tomorrow. But that's kind of just the general pattern there. Single replacement. All right, double replacement, what you can imagine. It's two solutions, aqueous. Okay, and basically what we talk about is that the the positives switch. Okay, so the positives they switch. All right, so sodium gets paired up with chlorine over here, and copper gets paired up with hydroxide over here. All right, and the whole end goal of it is when you mix two solutions, if you get a solid out of it, then it becomes what we call a reaction happens. All right, so it's called a precipitate, and generally speaking, we use this chart right here once we switch them to figure out if there's a solid. Soluble, okay, means that it's a solution, which also means that it's aqueous. Okay, insoluble would mean that it's a solid, all right, and that it's gas. All right, so we'll talk about the logistics of this table on the backside of your periodic table tomorrow. So, but moral of the story is double replacement is that. All righty. Excuse me. Acid base reactions. It's an acid base double replacement. So an acid, for our terms, has hydrogen in the front. All right. So an acid would be something like HCl, HNO3, H2SO4. Okay. A base has something that has OH in the back. All right. So something like sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. And the same thing is true for these ones. Okay. If you look in this equation here, okay, the positives will switch, okay, and you get sodium chloride, which is our salt, all right? And then you get a HOH, which is H2O, which is water. Okay, so anytime you see hydrogen in the front and OH in the back, it's generally a acid base reaction. Okay, so all I want you to do is just do a little classifying, and that's it for your async portion of the lesson. Okay, just figuring out the patterns of these. So super short, just a little touch base remembrance, and you should be good to go.